Apasampradayer Svarupa. The Smarta doctrine. Two kinds of Samarthi Sastra: 1. Spiritual, or Sattva Smritis; 2. Material, moral or fruit of work-oriented Smritis. Sattva Smritis include Sri Bharadvaja Samhita, included in Narada Pankaratra, Brihat Samhita, Vishnu Samyukaya, Vaikana Samhita, the Agamapramanya compiled by sage Albanduru, the Sadhakar Samarthi compiled by sage Purnaprajna, the Krishnamrita Maharanava, the Smrityartha Sagara by Kadari Nrsimhakarya, the Pramayamala by Viraraghava, the Progakendrika, the Vaisnavadharma Suradramamanjari by Samkar Sanasaranadava, the Smritiratnakara by Vitalakarya, the Srihara Bhaktivilasa by Srila Gopalabhata Swami Prabhu, the Sri Satkriya and the Samskarakandrika Padati by Sri Dhyanakandra. The ordinary non-theorist community and the sinful living entities cannot understand the wide difference existing between apparent similarities and sincere dedication, between a Smarta and a Vaisnava. They are thus becoming Smartas with external Vaisnava designations, Thatis, although externally maintaining all the rituals and activities of a Vaisnava. They internally cherish allegiance to the Smarta ideal of materialistic work. The lay non-theorist society cannot diagnose this deceptive disease infecting the remotest corners of the heart. It is the true doctor, conversant in the scriptures and in the science of Krishna, who is aware of these complications and can persuade the frank and surrendered soul of these diseases and endeavor for their cure. They look for sincere dedication and not for external details of Vaisnavism or for drama. Where dedication serves materialism, the sense organs, and seeks peace, prasadam and contentment, there are only material or moral regulations. The Smarta doctrine in the guise of a so-called Vaisnava doctrine is evident. Only the mercy of a pure devotee can deliver one from this dire calamity. Celebrating occasions like Ekadashi, Vaisnavas or spiritualists celebrate such occasions as enhancers of devotion or out of the pleasure of serving Krishna and without any desire. Smartas, on the other hand, celebrate them for physical or mental welfare or as activities fulfilling their moral, economic or sexual desires. So, notwithstanding apparent similarities, the motives of Vaisnavas versus those of Smartas are poles apart. Jain taking bath in and worshipping the Ganges. Vaisnavas view the Ganges as nectar from Vishnu's feet, are reminded of Vishnu by her contact and take bath in her in a spirit of service, knowing her to be transcendental object of service. So even Ganga herself desires to bathe Haridasa. But the Smartas want to utilize Ganges water for cleansing themselves of sins, filth and unholy thoughts. The Ganges, whose water even Lord Shiva takes gladly on his head as it washes the feet of his Lord, the Smartas want to use as maidservant or a sin-cleansing machine. Installing and worshipping deity forms of the Lord, the Vaisnavas do not differentiate between Krishna himself and his deity form. They accept Sankirtana as the prime means of worship and by that means perform the Abhisheka and other rituals, according to Sriman Mahaprabhu's instructions. The Smartas consider the deity as different from the Lord, as something transient and imaginary for temporary assistance of the aspirant, to be rejected or immersed later on. They imagine to instill life and consciousness into the idol and employ it in gratifying their desires. Sometimes they even use deity worship for enhancing some trade. Establishing monasteries, the Vaisnavas establish monasteries to provide saintly association and propagate the Sankirtana movement. They believe that just as lighting a fire to cook food rids us of darkness and cold as well without separate endeavor, similarly Sankirtana will relieve us of all social problems. Smartas, on the other hand, pompously open monasteries for the sake of self-advertisement or for some temporal social or moral welfare. Thus free hospitals, artificial celibacy schools, gymnasiums, etc. are often part of their monasteries. Or they may open abbeys for hoarding property, deceiving other people or such other material activities. Deity worship. Vaisnavas know that the non-Vaisnava or Ano-principled man is not qualified for deity worship even if born in the best of families. Only when he attains Bhuttasuddhi or the realization that the constitutional position of the living entity is a servant of Krishna from a bona fide spiritual master can he perform purified worship. To the Smartas the only qualification necessary for deity worship are birth in a high family, external cleanliness and ability to chant Sanskrit verses. The post of deity worship expands like a priest's profession. Mentally they do not consider the deity as God and do not try to arrange for the deity's comfort.